In the ancient Greek and Roman world, the idea of the blind having spiritual and moral insight and depth was understood from their own mythology. You'll remember Tiresias, who pops up in a great deal of ancient literature for the Greeks, was the blind prophet of Apollo. And then you see again in Oedipus Rex, and even later on, I don't know if you ever did King Lear at school, or have ever had the pleasure of seeing it performed. I think it's on right now, or about to be on at Bell Shakespeare. You have the Earl of Gloucester is blinded, and only then does he really see the betrayal. So it pops up all the time in our tradition that we often don't see what really matters. And having eyes is only part of seeing. There, if you like, are the eyes of the heart and the soul that God sees with and through. And so the blind man here, in a way, can represent all of that history, the strangeness of we humans. That until things are taken from us, we really don't usually see their value, including even our faculties, our senses. The other extraordinary thing, though, occurring in the gospel, or one of them, is of course the sheer perversity of the Pharisees, of the elders, to be worried about keeping the Lord's day rather than a man being healed. The exasperation Jesus must have felt at that dogged perversity, and to castigate the man for being healed on the Sabbath and the one who did the healing, which then of course becomes one of the charges against Jesus, because they knew healing on the Sabbath, doing anything on the Sabbath was a problem, but healing on the Sabbath meant that he was on a level with God, because when he heals, he forgives sins, and only the Father can forgive sins. He knew what he was doing. He's revealing his equality with the Father. It's the Father's kingdom he's here to unfurl and commence. So we have a man, and they're so perplexed that a beggar could be their teacher. This is the radicality of our Christian gospel. This is the bit that there was no real precedent for in the ancient world. The humility that a God becomes one of us, but he would teach to and through the poor, the beggar on the edge of the pool who'd been ignored for who knows how long. He draws the beggar out and places him at the center of God's drama with you and I. And the tragedy of the ancient world produced so much beautiful art form, struggling with these desires of the human heart that seem to have no resolution. They have their resolution. The tragedy in the gospel has its resolution in Jesus Christ. He is the bearer of the light. But no one can see the light. Only through encounter with him do you and I see the light. And even at the end of this gospel, with his sight restored and healed, this man still doesn't see until he encounters Christ again to have this revelation. Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him, the Son of Man. So the perversity of we humans, which is at the heart of all tragedy, is not the end of the story. Tragedy is not the end of the story. Thanks to Jesus Christ. All those rumblings of our heart, all those desires we have for infinite love are met in him, the person of Jesus Christ. In the Quran, we're described as the people of the book, the Jews and Christians. That's an honorific, but it's not the whole story. We treasure the book, but we're the people of the person of Jesus Christ first and foremost. We're in a relationship with him. We're called into that extraordinary dance of love. But so often, and Lent is about us reminding that we might see with purified eyes what's always before us. His yearning love for you and I and for the whole world. And until we own and understand that we are the blind beggar, we won't understand the light that he offers for our eyes. It's our need for his healing touch, our need for that love. We need to own that and see that. And in Lent, we have an opportunity again to be reminded, I am the blind beggar. I desire what I cannot have without God's grace. But through the miracle of God's love for you and I, he has died. He has taken away the sins of the world, as we say in the Mass, that you and I might live in that light. But it's never forced, always waiting for us to say yes. So in Lent we say yes again, Lord. But even the yes again is because of God's grace, that we can beg. So we are all the blind beggar. We're all on the side of the pool. And let's have the courage and the strength to call for that grace. Let me see, Lord, as you see, the world bathed in love and light.